Alrighty, greetings and salutations, my good friends, and welcome to the great 2023 movie tier list. We watched a lot of movies. A whole lot of movies came out this year, and we just want to rank them in a tier list and basically say how we feel about them. Anything to add there?
No.
No? Alright. Short and sweet.
Yes.
Alright, Marcel, take it away because you've seen the first four, so go ahead and let's get started.
Here we go. Infinity Pool. It was fine. I remember it being like the last 20-30 minutes kind of dragged.
Okay.
It was a cool concept.
Mm-hmm.
And it got through the cool bits and then kind of, kept going.
Got it.
And overall it was, the C.
Okay. All right.
It wasn't bad, but it was...
Starting us off straight in the middle.
Yeah, right down the line.
Yeah.
They go on vacation in this like small place that people only like go to vacation for.
Like an Airbnb or something?
No, like a country.
Oh, got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
fake country.
Got it.
They had fake license plates. I know.
Oh, that's cool.
It was cool.
That's
But
neat.
anyway,
Attention to detail.
the concept was like if you committed a bad crime, you had to either like pay a stupid fine or something like that, or a different option which they would clone you and then kill the clone, because basically it's like the death penalty, but it's technically you.
Yeah, so you're still alive, but the person who committed the crime is gone.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, yeah, I can see how that'd be a C.
Yeah, but then he meets up with some people who like kind of get into crime for fun type of thing and like rope them in and all that. But yeah.
Okay.
Down the middle.
Alrighty. What's this next one?
Next one is Wandering Earth 2. It's
Okay.
from China.
Alright.
It's a prequel, so you don't got to see the first one.
I take it you didn't watch the first one either.
No, I did not.
Were you lost, or was it all did it kind of make sense?
No, I mean, it was just like, it just felt like its own movie,
Oh, okay, that's good.
which is good. And it was long, but it was very entertaining.
Oh, that's good.
It was a very good concept.
Okay.
There's just one storyline I wasn't really on board with,
Mhm.
but then it had like the best payoff in the end.
Oh, nice.
And it was like, it's a really strong A.
Oh, okay.
It's like on the cusp of S, honestly.
Interesting.
But it was, it's not on the same quality as S tier movies, I don't think. So
What's the genre?
well, basically the concept is like the sun is dying and they need a plan to save it. So they're coming up with the Wandering Earth program, which is like to build like 24 like super rocket engines on the Earth in different places that like
move the planet?
to move the Earth.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Huh, that's cool.
But like there's a lot of kind of political stuff, and there's a different path that some people want to take, which is like digitally downloading people's memories,
Oh.
or like so you can live digitally.
Huh.
And some people are supporting that, like kind of try to sabotage.
There's
There's basically like certain hurdles they have to get past that are various, either sabotage, they don't know who's behind it, that sort of thing. Very good, very
That sounds
strong.
interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
That one, and honestly, the movie came out early this year, but that's like maybe the one I think about the most.
Oh, really?
I think about it all the time. It was just
Huh.
like, man, that was such a good like.
That's a key indicator of a good movie, is like if you're thinking about it like months after it came out,
Yeah.
a year after it came out.
Yeah, just like unprompted, I'm just like thinking about it. I'm like, man, that was cool.
That's interesting. Knock at the Cabin.
Knock at the Cabin. It was a fun little apocalyptic movie,
Mhm. Yeah.
And
I know the general idea behind it. What was
Yeah.
like the coolest part, and then what was like the worst part? Like the best and the worst of it.
I mean, I liked that it ended up, a little bit of a spoiler, but it ended up being like the four people represented the four horsemen of the apocalypse.
Okay, yeah.
And they all represented different things, but then there was this one thing where like the two like guys who were married thought that this was like not real, because one of the guys had like knew them, like
He
hit him in a bar or something as like a homophobic thing, I think.
Oh.
And he had lied about his name. They found his ID after he died, and he had lied about his name. But then that didn't end up being anything. It just like caused suspicion. So that was kind of weird. And they also like flipped from not believing that it was real to believing that it was real like very quickly.
Yeah.
It was a C.
All right.
It was an interesting concept. It was fairly good, but
Okay. What is next?
Hidden Blade. This was another foreign one. It was about China when they were occupied by Japan.
Got it.
So it was basically like, so it must have been China, because it was China being, the Chinese government being run by Japan, and then their underground, the Communist Party, who represented like the people, like the actual China. So it was very much about like not knowing who's on whose side, and like double agents, and like a lot of twists and turns in that sort of aspect.
Okay.
And some good ones.
Nice.
It was solid. Nice little A.
Okay. Sick.
Especially towards the end, it had some nice twists.
That's good.
I mean, for that type of thing, especially where it's just like, you know, undercover type, like who's on whose side, a lot of suspicion.
Yeah.
You know, someone's gonna be working for someone else. Type thing.
All that build up.
Oh yeah.
Next up on the list, we have Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Now we watched this one together.
Oh yeah.
This is the first one on the list that I've seen. We watched it together in the theaters. It wasn't included in our like past thing, so we had to pay for it. And basically, like the main thing I remember about this movie is that we had to pay like $20-something for each ticket. Oh yeah. Which is more than most of the tickets cost, I feel like.
Oh yeah, it was more than an IMAX ticket.
Yeah, and it wasn't even an IMAX, and it was really not good. I mean, like, you enjoyed it more than I did, I feel like.
Yeah, it was on the border of being bad and like funny how bad it was.
Yeah.
I found the humor in it.
It definitely had its humorous moments. Like, it was funny, but man, partway through I was just like, this is just bad. Like, it felt like a student film, you know?
Oh yeah, it was
the production
really
quality was really rough. And then wasn't there a sequence at some point where it was just storyboards?
Yeah, at the very beginning.
Oh yeah, it was at the beginning.
So it was like, is this like a style thing? But then they never went back to it, so I don't think it was a style thing.
Nope. They just forgot to do the intro.
Yeah.
They're like, let's just screenshot the storyboards real quick. Where does this go? D?
I think it just, because it's a bit fun, the fun aspect, you know, gives it a leg up into D. Yeah.
I feel like we kind of discussed this earlier, but like D is for movies that are bad, but not like they have some redeeming quality to it. But F's are just trash.
There's like some reason to enjoy watching it.
Yeah. Any last words on Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey?
No.
No? All right.
Oh, he will return.
He will. Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah. I can't imagine that's going to be any good. Speaking of F's, I immediately know how I feel about Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. That was no good. Like, it's one of those movies where it's just like, there's so much happening and just, it's not entertaining, you know? It's just like, it's so expensive. It's such a big budget Marvel movie, all the CGI and stuff, but it's just like the story was really weak. It was way more like, it didn't really feel like an Ant-Man movie because the previous, I don't know, did you watch the earlier two ones?
I saw the first one.
Okay. Well, the first one was very like low stakes. I don't know if you remember, but it was pretty low stakes. And the second one was fairly low stakes as well. And this one was like, oh, you know, the whole...
The new Thanos type thing.
Yeah, setting up this giant villain for the whole another season, like whatever, phases or whatnot. And it just, I don't know, something about it just didn't feel right. It was just kind of boring and it was not good. Like,
I feel like when all of them, like, superhero movies has to be like the biggest villain, destroy the universe type thing, then it just kind of gets old.
Yeah.
You gotta have some kind of, you know... friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, you know, little Ant-Man heist things.
Exactly. You know? And there was nothing like that. And it was just too grandiose. And I feel like it just kind of strayed from the roots of what Ant-Man is good at. And it was just more Marvel. And every Marvel thing has to tie into everything else. And it just felt like we have to make this in order to tie into everything else. And it was just no good.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Creed. Only I watched this, right? You didn't watch this? Creed 3, yeah. I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. I saw the first one. I never saw the second one. I enjoyed that it was based in LA. The final fight sequence was in Dodger Stadium. Although it was like very artistically done, the end fight sequence. Like their fight, his square off with also the same dude from this Jonathan Majors' character. Yeah. They did like first two rounds and then they cut to the last rounds. And it was like they did this whole artsy thing in the middle. And it was just like, it was a little disappointing. But I thought it was a solid movie. I would give it like a B. It was fun, but it wasn't like super impressive. So I'd say B is good.
Inside?
Yes.
You know, it's kind of straightforward and like you get what you expect to get. It's just Willem Dafoe. I think he's the only person to appear in the movie.
Yeah.
And he gets trapped in like this mansion, has to like survive and like try not to go crazy, and like it's just him being him. You get pretty much what you expect, and that's what you want to get.
How long is he trapped in the mansion for? To like make him go crazy?
I mean, he's like at the point of running out of food type of thing.
Oh, so it must be.
It's like months or something.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's like some rich person's place he's trying to rob, and they have like this crazy lockdown system. So he like.
Oh.
And they're like in Kazakhstan, he says, or something, Kyrgyzstan.
Oh.
On vacation.
Oh, so they're not coming back for a while. So
and
he's just screwed.
And they somehow don't have cameras and call the cops and all that. I mean, that part doesn't really matter. It's just he's trapped and he has to either,
It's one of those acting movies where you just kind of watch it for the actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like fun, him being weird type thing.
Yeah.
So, it's a solid like B.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't watch it, but it looked interesting, but
Yeah.
Speaking of things I watched actually, but I didn't really want to. Shazam Fury of the Gods, I think it's called. That was not great. The more I think about it, the more not great it was. It was definitely better than Quantamania. Honestly, I don't think it's as bad as Winnie the Pooh. I want to give it a C, but it was just like, it was average. It was like an average superhero movie. Like it doesn't mean that I think it's good. I just think it's just whatever, So is that fair? Because I don't think it was terrible. It was just like fine, There wasn't anything that stood out about it, except there was one sequence that I really liked, which I can't really say for a few reasons. It would dox me a little bit. But
okay.
There was one sequence I liked, which I thought was fun, but I can't really speak on that. Yeah, I mean there was some weird stuff, like the three bad guys were some sort of mythological characters, and one of them was like young, even though the other two were old, and the girl who was young like was flirting and in love with one of the main characters, but she's like 8,000 years old or something, and they even commented on it, and it was still weird. Overall, it was fine. You know what? Actually, I'm gonna drop it down to D, because he died in the end, and then Wonder Woman brought him back. Randomly, Wonder Woman showed up. Yeah, it wasn't very good, but it was funny.
So stupid. But, I haven't seen it, but that sounds stupid.
Yeah, there were some funny moments, but it was just whatever. Moving on to the next one.
John Wick.
A
4.
big improvement.
Oh
man, what an action movie.
What an action.
Both me and Marcel watched this. It's going straight in S, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Oh yeah.
We're on the same page about that.
That's just like a perfect action movie.
It really is. And it
just
does
like non-stop action almost, and it's never like boring.
Nope, not at all. It keeps you on the edge of your seat the whole time. Like each action set piece is like unique from the other one, which is cool too.
Yeah.
They do like new things each time.
Yeah, like that one, the roundabout.
Yeah.
That one, the end where they like do the top view thing and follow them around.
Oh
so
yeah,
sick.
so sick.
The one
with,
scene
like that flame gun or whatever.
Oh yeah, like this guy like fixes up the shotgun to blast flames, walks in immediately, gets killed, and he gets his gun taken.
And then John Wick is using the gun, and it's wild. Yes. Oh, so sick.
I love the scene where he goes to that one mobster's place with like the gold tooth.
Oh,
and he's like
yeah.
dealing the cards and like the fans going.
Uh-huh.
That whole like thing is so like well set up.
And he like flicks the card at him and slices him on the neck. Yeah.
And then they like go into like the club and have that fight.
Oh yeah.
That whole
my favorite sequence is like the whole stair sequence of like him having to keep getting back up. Oh man. Yeah, so good. Easy S.
I just easy S. But I did just watch the first one.
Oh yeah, how do you feel about it? So pretty good, right?
It was so good.
Yeah. Because after this, we both hadn't seen any of the John Wick movies when we watched this. Yeah. But then afterwards, I watched the first one, and man, it's good. But like, it's good. But this one, you can tell, is just so much higher quality.
It's just like higher like budget, like more places, more.
Yeah.
Yeah, they worked within their means, like for both of them, and it was just so perfect.
Next up, Dungeons and Dragons something. I forgot.
Honor Among Thieves.
Honor Among Thieves. Did you watch this one?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was fun.
I enjoyed it. Yeah. I remember it being like, okay. It was cool to see a fantasy movie because they don't really make fantasy movies anymore.
Not really, no.
This is like the first one.
And it was like,
wow.
Even though it's Dungeons and Dragons branded, it was a fairly original story. Like,
Yeah, I mean, you don't need to know Dungeons and Dragons.
No, yeah.
Watch it.
It stood on its own. I thought it was fun. I thought there was that one cameo of what actor was it? There was like a random cameo of some famous actor, like Brad Pitt or something like that.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, he was like the dwarf boyfriend of.
Oh, it was Bradley Cooper.
Bradley Cooper, yeah, it was the dwarf boyfriend of like one of those guys' exes.
Yeah,
that was really funny. Where did you put this? Like B?
I'd put it in C.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man, I thought it's B worthy.
I don't know. I remember it's been a while, but I remember like being like about a lot of stuff. Like there's the one guy who did like magic stuff. It was kind of weird.
Yeah, it was a little silly. I don't want to put it in C. I thought it was better than that.
I mean, yeah, you can put it B.
Do you want to do like rock, paper, scissors?
Okay.
Whoever wins gets to put it in theirs.
Here we go.
All right,
rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh, all right. I win.
B it is.
B it is. Yeah, it was fun. I thought it was silly and goofy and a good time.
Yeah.
Next one is Beau is Afraid.
Beau was Afraid.
I didn't watch this one.
Yeah, that was Ari Aster.
Yeah.
It's very unique.
Mm-hmm.
You know, directors like him always make unique stuff, which I enjoy.
Yep.
It's pretty weird and bizarre, but you know, that's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was like a B.
Okay.
It's like, it's very weird and like disjointed because he has like severe anxiety. So like part of the time you don't know what's like real and what's like his kind of imagination running wild.
Mm-hmm.
And you never really know for some of the stuff.
Okay.
But they had a lot of like good sequences.
Okay.
And interesting stories.
It's interesting to me for him to like change like genres, because his two big films that he's known for pretty much are Hereditary and Midsummer, which are both horror, and this is more like thriller comedy almost. Wasn't it kind of funny, or no? Was it not?
Yeah. Yeah, it had some humorous points for sure. Yeah, I'm glad that, because you know, you don't want to pigeonhole yourself into like one genre.
That's true.
So you had to make a little deviation.
Yeah. B for Beau's Afraid.
Yep.
Super Mario Brothers is next, and I enjoyed this a fair amount, to be honest with you.
Me too. D.
All right.
No.
Sick. F. No. Yeah, I had fun with this. I'm more the video game guy. Marcel, not as much. But coming from like a non-video game person, did you still find it, like, how did you feel about it?
It felt like fun, but it like the safest possible movie you could ever make.
That's very true.
Like like Jack Black's Bowser was very entertaining.
That's true, yeah.
But like the conflict wasn't really all that interesting, I don't think, at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole him and Daisy thing was funny.
Oh, like him.
But like the him being in love and all that.
Or Peach, actually.
Close enough. You know, princess.
Yeah. It was definitely like a really vanilla story. Like the most simplest of Mario stories you could go with. The thing that I really liked about it, I love music. I love the music in video games. And like Brian Tyler, who's the composer for this movie, he's composed some other things I really like Lego Universe, which was a game. And I love that soundtrack. And this was just a really, really nice soundtrack. It incorporated a lot of like the classic Mario's themes into it. And the soundtrack alone like puts it up a notch for me. Like, I think in general, as a movie goes, it would probably be like a C, but I would pop it into B just because I really enjoyed the soundtrack, and I think that really stands out.
The soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. You got to praise everything about the movie. You want to rock, paper, scissors again?
No, we could put B.
Are you sure?
I think B is fair, yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. Any final thoughts on Mario? All right. Air. We both watched this.
Yeah.
This was good.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting.
It was fun.
Yeah, a little sports behind the scenes type.
Yeah.
It wasn't really a sports movie, actually.
No, not really.
It was more like marketing.
Yeah, right up my alley.
What's the difference, really?
I thought it was I thought it was gonna be more like advertising ish. I felt like it was gonna feel more like an advertisement, but it didn't. No, it didn't, and I enjoyed it. Honestly, I would give it like an A or a B, but I don't know.
I think B.
B?
Yeah, it was fun, but it wasn't, you know. Yeah. It was pretty good.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think it's A quality.
Yeah, it doesn't like quite stand out enough, but it was a fun watch.
All the characters really fun. Bateman,
Oh, yeah.
Jason Bateman's character was really funny.
I loved him as an actor.
He's so great.
He's a good character.
Yeah, the story is just super interesting too, and like how his mom like fought for him getting like, oh no, he's gonna make like like from a percentage of the sales, the profits. That was sick, and it like changed the whole industry going forward, which I think is great for athletes. Yeah, that was sick. Speaking of sick movies, Sisu.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
That was a lot of fun. I wouldn't necessarily say it's like S quality.
It's a really strong A, though.
Yeah, it's a strong A. It was a lot of fun. It was really like tight,
Yeah.
like short and sweet.
It was just like a guy who's just like an absolute juggernaut,
Oh yeah.
He's just not gonna die. He's gonna kill a bunch of Nazis.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, yeah.
A bunch of very Finnish sounding Nazis.
Well,
Did you notice that?
They're in Finland, so...
Oh, sorry. It was like, it's a Finnish production company, and like all the actors are Finnish, and I just thought it was funny.
I mean, that one head German guy, he's like some sort of A-list actor.
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He's someone.
Oh.
I recognize him, at least.
Oh, I didn't look into it. Well, I don't think he was German, though. He didn't sound German. But, yeah, that was fun. That was he got hanged, and he survived getting hanged by sticking his leg into the rebar.
Oh, I forgot about that.
God, that was wild.
That was sick.
Solid A. Next up, Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Ooh.
That was a really good one.
That was really good, yeah.
Like a huge surprise, to be honest. Because the second one was like, whatever. The first one was good. The second one was like, not as good as the first one.
This one, it's an example of them making an actual like good story, making it an effort.
Yeah. One of the strongest stories in a Marvel movie in a long time. Like, one that actually has a lot of heart and like good things to say, And I feel like it's an A, right?
A.
Yeah. Nice easy A for that one. Next up, we have Fast X.
Baby.
Nice
What
one.
a movie.
What a movie.
What a flick.
What a blockbuster, am I right?
Oh,
what a summer blockbuster.
Movie of the summer. I fell asleep twice. I was jet lagged, flown from Europe. Fell asleep during like the two most action-packed parts, but whatever.
Wasn't the movie like 3 hours long or something ridiculous?
It wasn't that long, I don't think. I don't remember it being super long.
Well, I mean, it wasn't long.
But I had a nice little nap.
Yeah, you sure did.
It wasn't a long nap, so I know that what happened. They're driving around. There's family, a lot of family.
Family.
I like the villain's character was kind of fun. He was like, so it was Jason Momoa, but he was all like flamboyant and like.
Ah, yes.
It was because he was so like he had done his research so well. He was like so powerful, or whatever. He was just kind of like goofing around and being a little silly type.
That's
thing.
kind of fun.
Yeah, I think it's like. It wasn't good.
Mm-hmm.
But with that film, you kind of expect that and it's fun. So I'd slip it into D.
Oh, okay. I was expecting higher, but yeah. I don't know why I was expecting C.
No. I mean, it wasn't up there, but it wasn't like... Yeah, I mean, it wasn't good, but yeah, it was just like... I mean, I haven't seen any of the other ones, so maybe if you're into the franchise, it'll be a fun watch. But they brought in like a bunch of cameos from people from the other movies, so it kind of felt crowded and all that. It's like, yeah.
Got it. Yeah.
They had someone sacrifice themselves at the end, which like didn't really care about.
Do you think they really died?
I don't know. Probably not. Someone I think died, but ended up not dying.
Nice.
Oh no, someone who died in the last one showed up at the end.
Ah.
But I slept through that part.
Nice.
So I didn't see.
And how would you know that they died anyways?
I looked it up.
Ah, I see.
Well, I looked up what happened during the parts I slept through, and they were like, this person who died in a plane crash came back or like picked them up at the end. I was like, oh,
nice. Well, all right.
Yeah.
On to the Little Mermaid, I suppose.
Little Mermaid.
Honestly, I was very pleasantly surprised by Little Mermaid. I thought this was a nice movie.
It was fun.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the original.
Yeah.
So it was. I liked this. The songs were good.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Honestly, like the critiques are like the whole like end like resolution thing was kind of meh.
Yeah, I agree.
And like, what was it like? The king like gave up his trident to the witch and then like still killed her somehow or something.
Yeah, and then she like killed him, or then he came back or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened, but it was very like
yeah,
all right, now we're
like,
we gotta blitz through this, and then everyone's good now.
But outside of that, it was like the whole like Caribbean vibe was cool.
Yeah.
And like when she and the guy like fell in love, that whole like day and evening was like that was really nice.
Yeah, it was. And Like I've seen the original, and like one of the things I really liked about this version was that they actually showed like actual chemistry between the main two characters, because that whole like the whole date sequence that they went on, like the whole day they spent on the island, wasn't in like that's not in the original. They just kind of fall in love because they're like the main characters of the movie, you know, and they have to. But this one actually there was chemistry, like it felt like they were vibing, like, you know, it made more sense, and I appreciated that a lot. The one critique that I would have is that the music sequences felt a little shallow, because like they were
clearly made for like animation.
Oh yeah,
like the whole under the sea.
Yep.
Made realistic didn't work.
That was just a weird choice, but I feel like B is a good place to put this, right?
Yeah, solid, strong B.
That was a nice one.
Nice one.
Speaking of nice ones, oh boy.
Oh,
is this S. Yeah, I was about to say, this is our second S, isn't it?
Easy.
S for Spider-Man. Man, what a good movie. I know we had a conversation about this movie a little bit ago, and like I was kind of on the fence about it, but then I rewatched it, and man, it hits so hard.
It's so tight. It's so good. Animation is ridiculous.
It's insane. Like the beginning sequence with Gwen, and her world is all like watercolory.
Oh, and like it reflects their emotions.
Yeah, like when she hugs her dad, it like glows like a different color. Oh, so sick. And then there was like that vulture.
Yeah, the paper Da Vinci.
Yeah. And then Spider-Punk has this whole aesthetic.
I love Spider-Punk.
Yeah, he's so
his
sick.
like aesthetic thing with like the punk and like the newspaper stuff.
Yeah, and I also love the idea of like him not being he was never meant to be Spider-Man, and so like that's why we have hope that he can actually like save his dad. Yeah, you know, the villain is so well done. The way they integrate that, man, easy S.
Easy.
Honestly, speaking of S, right? Yeah. Past Lives, another banger.
Oh,
I didn't know that one came out so early in the year.
I remember it came out a long time ago, and it kind of like passed me by.
You didn't watch it in theaters?
No.
This one was really, really well done. Like, it wasn't a very complex story, and like it was just really like simple but like emotional.
Yeah.
And it hit like every beat that it needed to, and it was just very excellent. It was an excellent film. Yeah. There is something about it, you know, like especially if you've been in a relationship, like, you know, after you break up with that person, or like shortly after you've been in a relationship, you're wondering like, oh, maybe it could have worked out. You know, what would have happened if we'd stayed together? And this kind of answers that question. How, like, it kind of goes through their lives through different ages, and you know, people are only meant to be in each other's lives for a certain amounts of time, you know. And I feel like it really like nailed that concept. And you know, like she ends up being happily married, and it's good, and that's good for her, and that's like what they need, and they love each other. But then, you know, the guy who was used to be in a part of her life, like, was, you know, it worked for then, but it doesn't work now. And I think that was really...
it was kind of showed how, like, they would have been, like, good together, but it just, like, didn't work out logistically, like, they couldn't. It
was a very, very well done film.
Yeah.
Speaking of well done films.
Ooh, Asteroid City.
Hell yeah.
I love Wes Anderson, man.
Yeah, you're a big Wes Anderson guy.
It's a fun movie, man.
Oh. Where are we putting this? A for Asteroid City, or you want to put it higher?
I think it's a strong A.
Yeah, I agree.
I'll keep it there. I mean, it has my... Definitely discuss this, but my absolute favorite first encounter
it's so good.
Scene out of any movie ever.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's so unique in the way the first, you know, mutant alien. It's so funny.
It really is. I've only seen a few Wes Anderson movies, and he really nails that aesthetic that he's going for and that vibe. And man, it's so weird, and just the way it's set up, it works so perfectly.
Yeah.
And yeah, what a fun film. Like, it definitely, I was a little iffy on the fence when I first watched it, but like coming back to it and remembering it again, it's really strong.
Oh yeah.
F for Flash. Just immediately. Dude, Flash was terrible. Like, it was so bad. And there's almost no redeeming qualities about that movie, you know? Like, you know how you'll think of a movie and you'll be like, oh, that was a cool scene. There's one sequence that I can think of when it comes to that, and it's kind of adopting the Flashpoint story where like he realized that he can run so fast he can go back in time and save his mom from being killed or whatever. And there's this one like more emotional sequence towards the end where he realizes that he can't save his mom and that he has to like give that universe up, that timeline, he has to give it up. And like he kind of encounters his mom as an adult, but like when at the age, like when he was a kid. So she doesn't know who he is. And she's just talking to some random stranger, but he knows that it's his mom, obviously. And it's pretty emotional. They do that really well. But everything else was just really gross. Like it was just dumb. It was just stupid, bunch of cameos for no reason, crappy CGI that is honestly unsalvageable. And they claimed was purposeful.
Oh.
Did I tell you about that?
Yeah, I just forgot about that.
They're like,
doubling down.
Cause it was bad because, he was remembering and from things from a different universe and everything's weird. It's
shut up. You made a bad movie.
Yeah. F for Flash. Easy F.
Oh, here we go. Oh. Indiana Jones.
Easy F again. I'm sorry to anybody. Honestly, I'm not sorry to anybody who liked this. I was at Disneyland yesterday and we were in line for Indiana Jones, and the guy behind us was talking to his girlfriend or whatever and about Indiana Jones. And he was like, he was talking about all the Indiana Jones. He was like, there's 5 Indiana Jones films. Did you watch the last one? And she was like, no. He was like, it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I'm like, I turned to my girlfriend. I'm like, there are 3 Indiana Jones movies. And she was like, yep, there are 3 Indiana Jones films. Because this one was just terrible.
Yeah.
To be honest. Like, it's, in this one, you know how I said, like, you go back to a movie and you think of the moments that were cool? Mm-hmm. None of the moments are cool. Yikes. I think all of them are trash. It's so bad. Like, I knew it was going to be bad. I knew it was going to be disappointing. And I was still disappointed. Like, actually the beginning sequence was kind of cool because it was like deep faked Indiana Jones. It was like, it's kind of like him again, even though it sounds like old Harrison Ford. But just like Harrison Ford's too old. Like, man, it just doesn't work. And then his little goddaughter that he's traveling with is just like a mean person. She's like not a good character. It's like, why'd you make one of the main characters unlikable? Bad movie. That's all I have to say about that. All right. Next up, we have Mission Impossible something. Mission Impossible...
Fallout.
Dead Reckoning.
Oh, yeah.
That's really small.
Forgot about that.
Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. This is the AI one.
Yeah.
This is the one about the AI.
Yeah.
Honestly, a little disappointing.
Yeah, I mean it had like the kind of the main stunts they advertised for the film.
Yeah.
It was like well shot. They had cool like locations and all that. Mm-hmm. But they didn't do much spy stuff.
Yeah.
It wasn't a very spy type movie.
Yeah, it was just more action than spy.
Yeah, it was just kind of action.
They did some of the spy stuff towards the end when they had to like get on that train. And that's
Not
it.
much though. They did like the face thing for like one person once or something.
Yep. Everything else was just kind of a continuation of the other stories, which I feel like they haven't really done in the past. For the most part, each one can stand on its own.
Yeah.
But this one had a little bit more ties to the previous movies.
And it's part 1.
Oh, it is another part 1. I forgot about that. Yeah. Honestly, I would give this like a B maybe, because it was still well done. Really?
Yeah.
You wanted to go C?
It could be C or B, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably B. It's not worse than some of those on there.
Yeah. I enjoyed Little Mermaid more than I enjoyed Mission Impossible, to be honest.
Yeah, but it wasn't worse than Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, it was just a little disappointing. And like the main stunt wasn't like that cool. He like hung onto a plane on one of them. They like base jumped.
I mean, the actual stunt was cool. Like this giant ramp. But then they like CG'd into a mountain and it was just like, this could have just been CG.
Yeah.
But whatever. That's not, what it's about. But
yeah, it's just like, I feel like Mission Impossible is kind of known for their big action sequences. And this one had like
it's
one
spy.
of them.
It should be known for spy stuff.
Yeah.
And they didn't do spy stuff.
Yeah.
But
the mission always turns out to be possible, but that's the fun part.
Well, yeah, that's always your shtick. But yeah, it was still a fun little summer blockbuster. But
yeah. Oh, I had fun. I just was, because I feel like each one tops the last one. This one just didn't really. I mean, it was good, but it wasn't like great.
Yeah.
Barbie. How'd you feel about Barbie?
Solid.
Yeah. Solid.
The main takeaway I had was that I wish they spent more time in Barbie Land. Because that whole like sequence, like the sets, the little interactions between them, the little world they had was so fun.
Yeah, it was.
But then they just immediately went to the boring real world. I was like, come on, spend more time in the Barbie.
Yeah. One of the funny things I remember when I first watched it was like when they first step out of the real world and they're in Santa Monica or like Venice or something.
Yeah, Venice.
They're like they're roller skating or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And like everyone's looking at them and laughing. But it's like if you've ever been to Santa Monica or Venice Beach, there's some wacky ass people. And it's like you just look at them, you're like, all right.
People wouldn't bat an eye.
No, it is funny though. And then there was that sequence where it was like an extended car commercial. Do you remember that chase sequence where it just felt like a car ad? No?
No.
Really? That really stuck out to me. It felt out of place.
I mean, you definitely noticed like product placement stuff more than me.
And we'll get to that in just like a couple movies.
Actually, we'll get to that in one I saw recently.
Oh, really?
There was one that was crazy.
Okay.
But,
Wait. Oh, no. Oh, yes.
It's in a movie you haven't seen.
Oh, there's one that we watched just recently that I saw that was kind of egregious. But we'll talk about it in a second. But yeah, Barbie was fun. Like, I feel like they could have just done a little bit more in different places,
I mean, it has any movie that has a dance off, I'm in.
That's true.
Straight up. You can't go wrong with that.
You really can't. What, like B for Barbie?
B for Barbie.
Yeah.
It's a solid B,
Solid B. Next up,
we got Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer, part of the Barbenheimer craze. Did you do one of these back-to-back ones or not?
No, my brothers did.
Oh, really?
But I didn't know. I watched Barbie first, actually. I watched that one on opening night.
I think I watched Barbie first too.
Because I was watching Oppenheimer in like 30 millimeter. Like 35.
Oh yeah, and the stupid only theater that showed it was the one in.
No, I saw it in 35 millimeter, and then we watched it on 35 millimeter IMAX later.
Yeah.
Which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, that IMAX showing was insane. It was almost square. Like the screen was like square.
Oh yeah.
It was like almost 4:3. That was nuts. I mean, this was just excellent. There's hardly anything wrong with it, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah.
And like the way that they flashed back and forth in time was very coherent, unlike some of Nolan's previous films, which are kind of hard to follow. And I also just really enjoyed this, like the stuff with the like the court proceedings or whatever. Oh
yeah.
That was really interesting. Is this our fourth S?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard not to put it in S. And just like the whole sequence where they light the bomb off. Like, it's just building to that, and it's just so sick. They use that silence.
Oh, dude, my favorite, thing in movies is the use of silence, I think. It's so good.
I mean, I like how it highlighted that he wasn't, the best dude, Like, he's still a flawed character. Didn't he cheat on his wife? Yeah, he cheated on his wife with Florence Pugh.
Yeah, well, they definitely,
which, I mean, that's a bad thing to do, but,
Well, it was Emily Blunt,
You say Emily Blunt over Florence Pugh?
Yeah.
Really?
Ooh. I mean, I'm not saying one's bad, but they're both.
Nah, Florence Pugh is up there. Is higher than that for me. I have a wonderful girlfriend who I love very much.
But
I'm just saying.
If Florence Pugh asked.
No. I would say no. I'm in a relationship. No.
Wow.
If I was single and Florence Pugh asked, then yeah, sure.
This is really the debate that should be had about this movie, I think. How hot were the characters?
Yeah, easy S. Just, I mean, it's hard to go wrong with Christopher Nolan, honestly, except for Tenet, but that's a whole nother conversation. I know
you did not go wrong with that.
I know you hate me.
So sick.
All right, we just had a
Haunted Mansion.
We had an argument about it the other day.
So sick.
All right, Haunted Mansion.
S.
F.
Tenet is S.
All right, Haunted Mansion F. This one was really bad. I got to be honest. I know some people liked it. I thought it was terrible. The redeeming qualities, I would say, there were a lot of there were many nods. I'm not just, it's a Haunted Mansion movie. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of Haunted Mansion stuff in it, and all the Haunted Mansion stuff was pretty cool. Some of the ways they integrated the ideas of the Haunted Mansion were neat. The whole concept of why all the ensemble cast is in the Haunted Mansion in the first place is because if you visit the Haunted Mansion, a ghost follows you home. Just like at the end of the ride where it's a ghost will follow you home. And I thought that was kind of neat. But it just didn't work for a number of reasons. I think they just were trying to do too many things with it. It was way too long. It was super bloated. Movie was probably a half hour longer than it needed to be. The chemistry of all the characters was off. I've thought about this a lot. I also spoke to someone who worked on the film, which is why I had to think about it more.
Yeah, you told me you really hated him, right?
No, he was a really nice dude. I commented on his jacket, his Haunted Mansion Spirit jersey, which I'm actually wearing a Haunted Mansion Spirit jersey right now. not on purpose,
Nerd.
but it matched with my pants. But yeah, and he was like, "Oh, how'd you feel about the movie?" And I told him, and he was like, "I worked on it." I'm like, "You should have led with that, because I just crapped on your movie."
I could have lied.
Yeah, I could have told him what I liked about it, and we had a short conversation about it. And he seemed like a really nice dude, and I'm sure it took a lot of work and stuff, and it was definitely more like nods. There were definitely more ties to Haunted Mansion than the Eddie Murphy one, but I'm preferential to the Eddie Murphy one. I thought it was better. It was just so shorter, more tight. It was just a better story. This story was just kind of weak.
They focused on the tie-ins rather than the story type thing.
Yep. It was kind of like, how do we get to the next sequence, which involves a Haunted Mansion thing. And it was just, it was whatever. There was a ton of product placement, and I wanted to mention this just because you mentioned it earlier. There was like so many sequences of like verbal product placement. They didn't even show the brand. They just talked about it, like Amazon and Yankee Candles and CVS Pharmacy and like Dunkin' Donuts and what. It was just ridiculous, and I was like, it just took me out of it. It just felt so forced. But yeah, I'm sorry to that guy who worked on it. This wasn't very good, but I know it's not your fault.
Not his fault.
No, I know it's not your fault. But speaking of better movies, TMNT, Mutant Mayhem, is that what it says?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. What a fun movie.
Oh, it was a great movie. It's a great interpretation of TMNT, even though I haven't seen any other form of media that involves TMNT.
Same here.
But it does such a good job portraying teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
They're actually like teenagers, and they feel like teenagers.
Yep.
And the animation is like...
Oh, yeah. They did like a... I feel like any movie that kind of does something different with animation is going to be likened to Spider-Verse.
Yeah, it's like very stylized.
But this was very stylized in a really unique way that was really fun to watch. And I would put this in A, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is a nice solid A. And it was really funny, too, like the whole milking sequence. He's like, they're going to milk you, and they're like, they're not going to milk us. And then they get
I didn't
milked.
honestly expect them to end up getting milked.
Neither did I.
I really vibed with the Gecko character, who was like a skater guy.
Oh, yeah. That guy was so funny.
I totally vibed with him.
Honestly, like, all the little side characters they had were so much fun. And, like...
Ice Cube is the one guy.
Oh, yeah.
It was like, oh, man, it's a bunch of little tortoises, man.
Yeah. What a good movie.
Oh, yeah.
It also just made you feel so good. Because they all worked together in the end. Because they're kind of disjointed at first.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was really solid. And it's about brothers, you know?
Love brothers.
About brothers. I got no brothers, but you got brothers.
I got brothers.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty, on to The Meg 2, The Trench.
Meg 2, The Trench.
What an excellent film. One of the best films I've seen this year. If we had an award higher than S.
I think that award is called a D.
I agree.
I mean, it was terrible, but the only redeeming thing was that like it was fun because it's terrible, and that's the reason to watch it. You know that going in type of thing. Yeah,
honestly, this was probably the most fun of those films.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was very enjoyable, but it was not good. No. There was a whole sinus sequence.
I'll fill up my sinuses with water, and then I'll survive the pressure of the ocean floor.
Yeah, the deep ocean where no human has gone before.
I mean, they're on the ocean floor.
Yeah. That was ridiculous.
Yeah. And at some point, it became like a Jurassic Park movie.
Yeah, it did,
just,
huh?
Like, dinosaurs on land chasing people.
Giant octopus or giant squid.
Oh, yeah, and that was kind of just like a side thing. People didn't really care about that because there were sharks.
Yeah.
They were just kind of also there. But anyway.
The Meg 2, though, this was, yeah. It was, the action was fun, and it was a goofy concept, but it wasn't a good movie. Yeah. Blue Beetle. Honestly, I feel like, I don't think it's the same quality as the Fs, so I'm going to put it in D. I don't think it was good. It had some fun moments. He basically gets, like, this beetle, this ancient beetle
scarab.
The scarab from Egypt. Did you watch this? No. Okay.
I know the term for an Egyptian beetle.
The scarab like goes inside of him, and he's like, it's like symbiosis with him. It's like venom almost.
Yeah.
And like the initial sequence and like further sequences where he's like, where it's all this stuff is happening to him. He has no idea what's happening. Was felt very realistic, like how someone would freak out in regards to that. But, I mean, it was just a really kind of run-of-the-mill superhero movie. It wasn't quite F. I wouldn't say it was terrible, but it was just, like, fine, whatever. Like, my biggest criticism is that it was just kind of boring, you know?
Yeah, fair.
If this had come out like 10 years ago, it might have been better, but, you know, it was whatever. Gran Turismo, though. I really enjoyed this one. Did you watch this?
No.
No? It was fun. I thought it was fun. It was very feel-good. I found out later that all the things that happened in the movie didn't necessarily happen in the same, like, order that they happened in real life. They kind of had to switch things around in order to make it, like, more theatrical, which is a little disappointing, but... Yeah, it was still fun. Like, the racing was cool. Only for the beginning did it kind of feel like an advertisement for the video game, you know? Yeah, it was neat. I enjoyed it. I would give it like a B, a pretty strong B. I don't think it's quite A quality, but it was enjoyable enough to me. Like, I feel like it's kind of on the same lines as Air, you know?
Okay.
Like, it was fun and it was cool, but like ultimately it wasn't like great, but it was still a fun watch, you know? Nice solid B.
Yeah.
All right, what is this? Equalizer 3?
Equalizer 3.
Got it. Have you seen the first two?
No.
All right.
Here we go. So he's retired in this one.
Ah, he's got to come back out of retirement.
Well, he retired and is settled in this little Italian village, and he loves the people and he loves where he lives. Yep. But he like finds out that like they're kind of being bullied around by like mafia group.
Ah, the Italian mafia.
Yeah, this like family, and he is retired. He does not want to get involved. He tips off the CIA about some things, and like it's kind of like him versus them, where it's like, don't make me get involved with you guys. I will like destroy you. Huh. And basically like there's some good conflict. It's like a high quality made. Yeah. Like it's very fun. But it's weird because it's like you kind of expect it to be like this John Wick type. He is like this John Wick type character. Yeah. And you expect it to lead up to some huge battle type thing, but like it kind of leads to these like a couple points where he's just like he decides to get involved, and it's just like too easy for him. He just like dismantles them. It's not even like a contest, which is interesting. But then, you know, it's nice he gets to stay retired in this peaceful area.
But it's like it's not very. That doesn't sound super exciting.
No, but it was like very good. It was kind of like it was a feel good type thing. Huh. Okay. He kind of meets this woman. There's not like they're not like explicitly romantically involved, but they kind of are. And like he gets kind of accepted into the group. It was like a strong B, honestly. Yeah. Okay. Which I didn't really expect it to be the way it was. I thought it might be pretty good, but yeah, it was a fun little movie.
All right. What is this one?
Ernest and Celestine, a trip to Gibberitia. Great name. Apparently it's a sequel. I couldn't really find much on the first one.
Got it.
But it's a little French film.
Okay.
Little animated piece. It's got this nice little like watercolor type, very like nice vibe. And it's just like the most wholesome movie you've ever seen. Okay. It's like such a fun movie. It's like a family movie, but it's like these two buddies, this bear and this mouse, that live together. And they like go back to his hometown where they band music. And they gotta
bring music back.
Bring music back. And it's like this whole family dynamic. And it's just like, it's so fun, so wholesome. It's like a nice little A.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Going in the A. That's
just, it's just so wholesome.
Yeah.
The most wholesome movie.
It sounds wholesome.
Yeah.
Jawan. Dude, what a sick movie. What a sick... Was this the one where it was like, oh no, it wasn't. Never mind.
Okay.
No, I was going to say, is this the one where we were concerned that there wasn't going to be a dance number? But no, there was multiple, I think.
Yeah, it's pretty early on with the prison one.
Oh yeah, the prison one. That's pretty sick. There's so many like Bollywood movies or Tollywood. I'm not sure exactly.
This
which
one's
one.
Bollywood.
So good at like the twists and turns, you know, like, and that's what's so fun about it. And like halfway through, like, I mean, this is a bit of a spoiler, but like, he like gets pretty beat up or something.
Yeah, and he's about to get like killed, or like the girl's gonna get killed, and then he walks in.
Yeah, and then the same dude walks in.
A second version.
It turns out it's his dad, and you're like, yo.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like, it's so good. It's so much fun.
There's like a bunch of moments like that where they tie in something from earlier on. You're like,
oh yeah.
Makes sense. I've forgotten most of them, but I remember there's a bunch of moments.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. This was a lot of fun. I'd say easy A, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like a bunch of great action, fun song and dance. Just like great theater experience.
Oh yeah, like the theater experience is always so much fun with these movies because it's so loud and like in your face.
Such a good movie.
All right, next up.
The Inventor.
Mm-hmm.
This was one of the more disappointing movies of the year.
Yeah, I remember seeing a trailer for it, and it looked interesting, but I don't know.
It's like stop claymation, whatever, about Da Vinci.
Mm-hmm.
And like the story was like pretty disjointed, and like the message they decided to do was like kind of didn't work. And like you thought he'd like died at one point, and then he didn't. It was just like he had a heart attack or something weird, and it was just like things kept happening where you thought the movie was gonna end, and it kept going.
It's one of those ones where you're like looking at the clock a little bit.
Yeah, this was actually like maybe the only movie where like I was in the theater and it like I was kind of wanted it to end. I was like, it was dragging. They had some like really nice like watercolor like things for when he was dreaming.
Oh, that's
so he was like really into like dissecting dead bodies to like learn more about them.
Yeah.
And he was like trying to find the soul or whatever, like where's the soul? And there was like some like metaphor like watercolor scenes where it's him like going through the body trying to find the soul, but he keeps like encountering death. It was pretty interesting. The end was like, oh, it doesn't matter, it's like the point of living is like sharing your experience with others type of whatever crap.
Yeah, what, you don't like sharing your experiences with others or what?
No.
You don't like what we're doing right now? You don't like hanging out?
I mean, I would if I could do it by myself.
Oh, wow.
No.
Wow.
But it was something where it was just like, it would like, they kind of built it like, oh, this like good little family friendly message. It was like, I don't feel like this
kind of felt tacked on.
Yeah.
Where's it going?
It's like hovering between C and D, honestly. It probably is
I mean, do you think the animation pops it up a little bit?
I think like honestly the animation saves it.
Okay. I mean, because the music saved Mario, I feel like. Yeah,
that's true. Because there were good sequences, and a lot of like the Da Vinci like invention type stuff. You know, like they had some good animations for that and all that. So it was had fun moments, but it was towing the line there.
Okay. Next up, we have Haunting in Venice. This was solid. I enjoyed it more than the previous two Poirot movies.
Definitely.
It was definitely a step up. I wouldn't say it was like amazing though. I don't know.
I mean, it worked a lot better because they kind of wrote it to be a movie because they like took bits from multiple books.
Oh, really?
Rather than it was directly like a book.
Yeah, I know that it wasn't like a direct translation of a book, but I didn't know that they kind of took ideas from different movies. Or from different stories.
Well, because like my mom had read the book, so she was like, "Oh, tell me what happened in the movie," and like I told her about it, and she was like, "This is nothing like the book. This is completely different."
Yeah.
But like the setting was like from another one, where
really?
it was like the Halloween night and like the whole party type thing.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Or maybe that was what the book was about, and the Venice thing was something, I don't know. It was somehow like a bit from like two different ones, but it was mainly its own thing.
Okay.
So I think that's why it worked better.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like B is a decent place to put it, right?
Yeah, honestly, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I remember walking out of the theater and being like, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Because I didn't expect much. Because the other two I didn't like.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a little bit more horror, and it wasn't. It was definitely very Poirot detective, and that is good, because that's fun. Next up, we have a movie that I did not watch, but you did watch.
Yeah, El Conde. It translates to The Count, so it's about a vampire.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. So he's like an old guy who's decided to die.
Okay. But is he a vampire?
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
They had like a few vampires who were like historical figures.
Okay.
Because I guess like they lived long enough and they like power type thing.
Okay.
So he was like some Chilean dictator.
Oh, all right.
It was set in Chile, but they had like the family had a downfall and all that. So like all the kids were there because he was planning on dying to like try and get a piece of the inheritance type thing.
Yeah.
But they like knew he was a vampire. It was like really well like made. It was like black and white, but it was like a solid B.
Okay.
It was a fun, odd little movie.
Man, this B category is getting filled up.
Yeah, that's okay. A
lot of good ones.
Enjoy movies more than we dislike them.
Yeah, that's good. Elemental is up next. I keep wanting to say Elementals, but it's not. Did you end up watching this?
No.
This one was really, really good. Like, I think any conversation that you can have about it basically comes down to they marketed this terribly. Those trailers, not really what the film was about. And so like I thought it was going to be more of like a goofy Inside Out type of story, you know. It just looked like it was very much about the concept of the different elements interacting. But like that was kind of more of a backdrop to tell a story about like an immigrant family and like all the challenges that go with that, and like children wanting to do something different than what the family wants you to do, you know, and like feeling this kind of guilt for wanting to do something different, even though your family, like, you know, they brought you to this country, you know, we raised you type of thing. Like we raised you here to give you a good life, and you want to like do something else that we don't want you to do. And like just the fact that she's like someone who's of a different element, I guess. And it was really well done. Like it made me and my girlfriend like tear up a little bit, and it was a really sweet movie, to be honest with you. And I would honestly give it a nice strong A.
Ooh.
Like this was a really good one. It sucks because I even thought it was going to be terrible. I was like, I haven't heard good things about it. It just looks bad. We watched it once it came to streaming, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so good. Yeah, it was kind of overlooked a little bit because of those. I should fire everyone in the trailer department. But yeah, that was a fun one. I enjoyed that a lot. Alrighty, next up.
Creation of the Gods, and then there's some subtitle that I don't remember.
It's all good.
Part 1.
Part 1, yay.
Yeah, it's like, it was a very high budget like Chinese movie.
Okay.
That's just like stuffed full of mythology.
Nice. That's cool.
It just has like a ton of, you know, someone like kills the king, so there's gonna be like the gods are gonna form punishment on them. They decide the best way to appease them is like to make a sacrifice of like the next guy who's gonna become king. But then he gets infected by like a demon,
oh my gosh,
like a fox demon, so he decides not to. The gods come down to like view the people and see how they're doing, and like one of the people guy comes across like a demon that fell from the sky.
A lot of demons.
Yeah, and they want to kill it, but he's like, no, we don't kill, it's a child type thing. So then the gods agree to like send it back to their homeland to like raise it. And then when that guy is like losing hope or whatever, that demon thing that's grown up swoops in and like saves him, and like, because, you know,
Yeah, because he helped him.
Yeah, like you reap what you sow in a good way.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of like interesting mythology stuff like that. But yeah, this is like a C. I mean, it wasn't that good, but it's really interesting to see something like that where it deals with like completely different mythology and like different country and all that.
Yeah. Yeah, because I can't say I know much about Chinese mythology.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels very like mythology and like, you know, folklore type stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, the story wasn't that good.
C for creation.
Yeah, C for creation. Wasn't anything crazy.
Speaking of creator.
Ooh, C for creator.
I wouldn't give it a C. I would give it a D.
D for
creator, excuse me.
Create.
Would I give it a D? Like, the reason I want to give it a lower score is just it was really boring, and it also just felt messy, you know. It just felt like there was too many ideas stuffed into one movie, and they didn't really focus on one enough, you know. And he's like anti-AI robots up until like later, and then up until like the end, and then he decides to like be okay with them. I feel conflicted putting it at D because the CG was really good, you know. And that was like probably the strongest thing about it, is the visual effects were really impressive.
Was it still boring with all that?
I mean, it was cool to look at. Like, all the things looked almost real, you know? But all the robots and stuff, they looked very real. But it was just a bit of a snooze. It was like the ideas weren't interesting enough to carry the whole movie, so I feel like I'm just going to leave it. Although putting the creator at the same level of Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey feels a little mean.
I mean, there's a bit of range within each letter. Some are on the weaker, some are on the stronger side, type of thing.
You mean, honestly, I think of what we've discussed, it probably lies a little bit in line with these ones. You know?
Neutral.
Yeah, neutral. I would say neutral. I think some people might have enjoyed it, but for me, just whatever.
Fair enough.
That's definitely not the case about the next one. Oh my gosh, Anatomy of a Fall. Man, that was really good. I thought it was insane how they just like every little thing about their relationship, like the mostly the bad, obviously, because that's what they were getting into, was just like put under the microscope of the court. And, you know, just like every single thing that they did their interactions with each other and stuff was just like scrutinized. And while some of it was legitimately bad, you know, they were violent with each other. They were just not good partners to one another. It was all just like in a case to build against or for the different sides, you know?
Yeah.
And like, yeah. And there was even a point where the defense was making a statement about the husband, and she was like, that's not how he was. Like when he came back, she was like, that's not how he was. And he's like, it doesn't matter. Like what we want is to win, you know?
Yeah.
But she like wants to protect her husband's name a little bit because, you know, they were husband and wife. But man, like this was excellent. I want to put it in S, but I'm not sure how you feel about it.
I feel like it's a strong A, but you know, it could be up there.
Yeah,
I'd be fine slipping in.
It's hard to think of anything that wasn't good about it, you know? When I think about these movies, it's like the weakest parts are like kind of what drag it down, and there was just no weak parts.
Yeah, that's fair.
It was all strong.
Yeah.
So
slip in S.
I want to stick it in S.
Yeah,
I think it's
a very
good.
strong movie. You're just interested the whole way, and you don't know which way it's gonna go.
Oh yeah, I legit thought like it was gonna go one way, and it didn't go that way, and I was like, oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
I was about to spoil
I also
it.
like how they don't explicitly say what happened. They just like show from their perspective how the court case ended up.
Yeah.
You assume that's what happened because it makes sense, but it's also like they don't like go back and say, oh, this is actually what.
Yeah, they never show exactly what happened.
Which is good.
Yeah.
I like that.
Next up is, what was this one called?
Leo.
Bloody Sweet. Oh. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, this was a good one.
Definitely a bit of a step down from Jawan, I would say.
Yeah, a little bit.
The story was still fine. The action was still fun. The CG was a little weak.
Yeah, it was patchy in some parts.
Yeah.
But, a great song and dance number in there.
There was one song and dance sequence, and that was fun. There's also that sick drone shot in like the end, like where they're flying through the warehouse. It was like that action sequence. I don't know if you remember that, but I thought that was cool.
He had that little like guy who lied on his resume to get the job.
Oh, yeah.
Who ended up having like a good redemption.
Yeah, I forgot about that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one was fun. And he was like an animal like wrangler.
Yeah, he had a hyena.
He fought a hyena. This was cool. I feel like B is a good place to put it.
Yeah.
Well, it's high B.
It's a notch below Jawan, was still very good.
Yeah. There was, do you want to tell them about the theater experience?
Well, you know, theater experiences are a bit different in Indian movies.
Yeah.
People are a bit more casual.
Yeah.
Like the dude next to us answered a couple phone calls. Did a nice little transaction for like 30 minutes.
Dude, it was so funny. It's not like one of those things where like he gets a phone call and he walks out of the theater. He just answers
and started talking. Yeah. I didn't really hate it.
No.
It was like I was just entertained by it.
Yeah, it was more funny than anything else. On to Killers of the Flower Moon. This one was very, very strong. It's another one where it's hard to think of anything that drags it down. Mm-hmm. There was that one sequence in the end, which we've discussed a little bit in the past.
Kind of the way to like sum up what happened, like the little radio show thing. I didn't like that, but I don't really think that detracts from the story at all. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the most impressive thing about this movie is that it was really long, and it still like managed to keep your like attention the whole time. Like
it didn't feel as long as it was.
No, not at all.
3.5 hours or something.
It was so long, but it was like it was very enthralling the whole time, which is why I think S is a good place to put it. Yeah. That was a really good movie, and everyone did such a great job in that movie too. Like all the actors were really good. Any other things to say before we move on to the next one?
Five Nights at Freddy.
Five Nights at Freddy's, baby.
FNAF.
They finally made a FNAF movie.
Oh my goodness.
And then did you see Matt Pat retired from YouTube or whatever?
I heard something about that. I
don't know what he's doing exactly. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I think he might be moving to like more managerial role or something.
Probably.
But yeah, man, he showed up in this one.
That was funny.
That was funny. We watched it opening weekend, not opening night. Was it opening night?
It was opening night.
Oh my god, it was opening night. You're right. We watched this one opening night. For context, we both don't really know much about Five Nights at Freddy's. I've learned more.
I saw a couple playthroughs like way back in the day. Of like I think the first 3 games. Mm-hmm. But that's all. I just like saw a few of those and was like, huh.
Yeah.
And then moved on and was like sort of aware later that there was like a really big fan base and a lot of lore.
Yeah, it's crazy how like it's continued for a long time. It's an incredibly like successful indie game, which is very impressive. And they turned it into a movie, and the movie was not great. No. Like D, maybe C.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoyed the plot line of like him dreaming.
Yeah.
With, like the kid showing up and him trying to find his brother.
That was cool.
That was interesting. I might give it a C.
C? All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. I feel like it was average. Like it was marketed as a horror movie. It was not scary in the slightest.
No. I mean, it was the audience was the most involved maybe I've ever seen.
Yeah. It was a very, very active audience. When Pat showed up,
I saw a clip of like on YouTube of like audience reaction to Pat showing up. Everyone's talking about how crazy it was. It wasn't that like people were like vocally like all surprised, and then when he said like but that's just a theory, people were like more like oh. But honestly, when we saw
our theater,
as soon as he showed up, people were like going so crazy. I didn't hear a single line he said.
The whole sequence.
We didn't have any clue he said that's just a theory because people were freaking out the entire time.
It was the loudest one of the probably the same as Jawan.
Oh, it was way more
than Jawan.
More, yeah, because that one was more like
people were excited for the actors.
Yeah, it was like the introductions. They would be cheering and exciting, and like something happens, but they were just like freaking out over like the taxi driver showing up.
Yeah. And like Springtrap at the end or whatever. The what's his name character.
And like during the credits they like played a little theme that they freaked out.
Oh yeah, there was some song that they played in the credits that they all freaked out about. It was really enjoyable to like watch
a fun experience.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But Markiplier didn't show up, so
C. F. Yeah, not much more to say about that, to be honest. The Killer.
It was a good one. It was, about an assassin who messes up a kill, and he's part of this organization that's so like tight knit, and that they tie up all loose ends, and like since he messed up, he's a loose end,
like a John Wick type of situation, or more like more tight knit than that.
I mean, it's more just like because he messed up, they got to take care of him, and he doesn't want to get taken care of. He's got a girl back home.
Yeah,
so he's like, I gotta get rid of everyone who has ties to me and knows who I am, type of thing.
Yeah.
So it's really well done. I love like the dialogue. He has this internal dialogue of like narration, but sometimes it's like interrupted by like it's like him going through like his meticulous like cleaning up the gun, like setting things up. Then he hears something and the dialogue stops while he goes and like investigates it and whatnot.
Because like I feel like that's what happens in real life. You'll kind of have everyone talks to himself a little bit in their head. Yeah. And then like when you're talking to someone or something happens, you're not talking to yourself anymore.
Yeah, so that was good. Very well done.
That's cool.
A.
Who wasn't it? Someone big who did this? Who did this movie?
Fincher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did this fly under the radar?
Yeah, and they did like no marketing. So stupid.
Yeah, I saw one trailer for it.
Yeah, I saw one on TV. Never saw it in theaters. Yeah, I mean they didn't show it in like AMC or like the main ones. I had to go to like this local one.
Oh, the movie wasn't even showing?
No, they didn't show it in like AMC.
Well, it's streaming now. I think it's a Netflix movie.
It's Apple TV.
Oh, it's on Netflix too.
Yeah, it's also on Netflix, but yeah. It's an Apple TV original.
Got it. Whatever. Huh.
Yeah, solid movie.
Next up, The Holdovers. Ooh. What a wholesome, like, well, I mean, not wholesome overall, but like a feel-good movie,
Yeah, I mean, it's like a bunch of like misfits who have like troubled lives.
Yeah.
And you kind of like learn more. Like he thinks that all these kids are like rich snobs.
Yeah.
But turns out, they're people too. He's got a tough life.
And you kind of learn more about the professor too, and how he's like, he's a hard ass for multiple reasons, but like he's a nice dude, underneath it all.
And it's, it's very funny.
Oh, it's so funny
moments. He's a goofy guy.
He's such a great character.
Love his little lazy eye. He's like a goofy, such a goofy looking guy.
Which eye do I look into? Yeah, this one was just like, this was a lot of fun. I would say
I'd put it in S.
Yeah? Okay, cool. Because I was thinking like strong A or S.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah, he just had some great lines and some really fun. He was so good at playing that like awkward character and like that, but like really smart, but he just doesn't know how to like talk to people. He'll like say these things to people and they're like, huh?
Yeah, just talk about Mesopotamian history or whatever.
Yeah, that was a fun one. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Speaking of ones we really enjoyed. Dude. Bro. Godzilla Minus One had no business being that good. But it went so hard. It went so hard. It was so cool.
The story outside of the Godzilla was like perfect.
Dude, you could take Godzilla out of the movie and it would still be an excellent film.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It was.
And then you also had a sick giant Godzilla lizard.
Exactly.
So it was like, oh.
And they gotta take him down. Yo.
Like the introduction of Godzilla in the beginning, it was like so sick.
Dude.
It was crazy. It was
Everything
like,
about it is so cool. Honestly, like there's that black and white showing coming up.
It's out currently.
Oh, it's out right now?
Yeah.
I hope. Is it running for a while or no?
I think so.
Okay, thank God. Because I really want to watch it.
Hopefully it's not.
Yo, that's so, and like I know he has that like fire breath or like whatever it is.
Yeah,
the
that
laser
nuclear
thing.
charge thing.
Yo, it's so sick. The way he like his back like pops out when he does it.
Oh yeah, a little charge up.
It's so sick. Easy S, right?
Yes,
yeah, easy S. Easiest S in this list. Man, what a solid movie. Dream Scenario. We watched this one together.
Yeah.
This one was fun.
It was pretty good.
It was a little sad though.
It was a bit sad than expected.
Yeah.
But it's what Nick Cage being a little odd.
Yeah. But he did a great job portraying this like kind of older dad character, you know.
A little out of touch type thing.
Yeah, they wrote
With
him
the kids.
really well. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know where I'd put this though. Maybe like B?
I like B.
Yeah? B?
Yeah. It's not an A.
Nah. It was really well done though, and like everyone was written well, and just like the whole dream sequences were really creepy and well done. Like it was very much so a commentary on like cancel culture, I feel like, you know, among other things. But
Yeah, interesting concept.
alrighty, next up, you gotta carry these next two.
Here we go.
Blitz
we
through 'em.
got Tiger 3, little Bollywood movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely the least Bollywood movie I saw. It was just like,
Was there a song and dance number?
No.
Ah,
what's
F.
even the point? It was like a spy type thing,
No, okay.
you know.
Is it a
kind
sequel?
of generic. Yeah, I guess it was the third one.
Did it feel like a sequel?
No, in the beginning it kind of seemed like it was a little passing of the torch, like someone's like kid was getting into the business type of thing.
Okay.
And then it was them when they were growing up, so it wasn't at the beginning thing kind of seemed tied to something else, but
Got
other
it.
than that, not really.
Okay, that's good.
It had the one guy from Jawan show up.
The main guy?
Yeah.
Nice.
SRK, I guess is his name. But yeah, the Tiger 3 was like, it was like probably D.
Oh, that's no good.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's no song at the end, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was just, you know, it was kind of the generic action movie type thing.
Yeah.
It was pretty forgettable. It was like, whatever.
Okay. What about the next one?
Next Goal Wins. Yeah, this is Taika Waititi's little thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was a fun little movie, you know, about taking a bad soccer team, trying to get them to score a goal.
At least one goal.
Yeah, doing that thing where they take a group of misfits to, you know, sports, making them better.
Yeah.
But, like, the coach is flawed in himself, so he has, because he got fired and stuck with his job type of thing.
Ah, I see.
Because no one wants to take the American Samoa job.
Yeah.
So it's a little redemption for him as well as the team type thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's, you know, fun little C.
See? All right.
Yeah.
Middle of the
Wasn't
road.
bad. Wasn't like, it was pretty forgettable.
Yeah.
It was one of those where you're watching, you're like, oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Nice little fun watch.
Okay. Saltburn. This one was, it was good. It was very good, but it was weird.
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't quite as weird as Men from last year, but not quite Men category. But yeah, like, I thought it was cool how they kind of revealed more about the main character later on, which totally comes out of left field too.
Yeah, they portray him as a certain way, and it kind of turns out.
Yeah, he's a very different character.
Yeah, and like the things that are kind of like unexplained or confused is all like tied up at the end because of that.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, becomes really tight.
Yeah, and it's very much so like a really like. I mean, I want to say we're gonna have to spoil it because I want to say like.
Yeah, you can figure out what you want to censor.
For a while, like you feel bad for the main character, right? Because he's like lower class, you know, he kind of overlooked a little bit. Like this guy, everyone loves this dude, and he's like this rich kid, and so you kind of feel like once he's invited to the home, you kind of feel like he's like the main characters, the rich characters, kind of villainized a little bit, you know, kind of like they're just relaxing with all this wealth, they're just chilling. and they're kind of seen as the bad guys. But then when the tables turn, then you're like, you realize that these aren't bad guys. You know, he wants a genuine friendship, and that's why he's so pissed off when he finds the real truth about the main character.
When he finds out he lied about his family being like dead, or like his dad died,
and his family being like addicts.
Yeah, because he just wants someone who's like real and not like just trying to be friends with him.
Exactly. Yeah, because you realize that like everyone who wants to be friends with this dude want to be friends with him because of his money, and it's just like, sad, you know. They're rich, but it still sucks. Yeah, but that was really good. I would say A. You want to pop in an S?
I might be feeling a little S, honestly.
S for Saltburn?
Yes.
Yeah,
I thought it was incredible.
Yeah, it was really well done. It was just had those 3 weird scenes. That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, it works for the character once you learn about him.
Oh yeah, it makes sense.
And I honestly thought, like, even though it was weird, the ending scene was kind of perfect for the movie.
Oh no, it definitely fit.
The sequence.
Yeah. Walking around with his willy out, dancing.
I was surprised by how good it was. I heard it was weird and good, but I expected the weirdness to overrule the goodness.
Yeah. Also, the title sequence, I don't know if you remember it, but it like had Saltburn and then like a bunch of little like leaves and stuff came off of it, and it felt very like medieval-esque, and I liked that. That was cool.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving on to Monster. Now, that's another really good one. And S, right?
This was my favorite movie of the year.
Okay, yeah. That's what I figured.
It was, Japanese film. It's about perspective.
Oh,
kind of does a great job in like showing things from different perspectives, and it goes in a different direction than you think, but in a good way.
Yeah, it very much so is like you think it's one way, and then when it switches perspective, you think it's going to be another way, and then it switches perspective again. You realize what's actually happening. And you're like, oh,
yeah. It also, I feel like they do such a good job in like everyone behaves like how they would in real life. I feel like. The single mom just like wanting to defend her kid.
Yeah.
The teacher, and then the kid just kind of like lying about throwing it on the teacher, but like not thinking about the consequences. He's just trying to, like,
he's a kid.
Yeah, trying to get out of trouble and like not wanting to talk about it type thing.
Yeah, that was excellent. It was so well done. It's one of those movies where you think about it and there's hardly anything wrong with it, S tier. Follow it up with a nice solid one, right?
Oh my gosh.
You got to take this one.
Freaking wish. Slip into F while I talk.
Yep. Figured.
Honestly, at the end of the day, it's a fun little Disney movie. You watch it, you don't hate it. But like leaving the theater, the main impression was that it felt like half-assed.
Yeah.
It just like the story, it felt like they had an idea like Jubilee, 100th anniversary, make a story about When You Wish Upon a Star. And it felt like when you have like something due for school and you decide to do it last minute.
You do it the night before.
So you're like, okay, this kind of works, and you start writing it. And as you write it, you're like, this kind of doesn't work, but I'm too far in to start anew because it's too late to change it. So I just have to try and make this work. That's like exactly what it felt like.
I can see that.
And honestly, like, it's supposed to be a celebration of 100 years. But what they did was like they made about When You Wish Upon a Star and like threw in some like references to other movies, which is dumb.
Yep.
But like, what they should have done is just started it like 5 years ago, done it hand-drawn animation.
Yeah.
Made it feel like the old ones.
Yeah.
And the most Disney thing ever, which they didn't do, was have like a romance.
Oh.
Like a true love's kiss type.
Oh.
Prince Charming. There was none.
But she's a strong, independent young woman, Marcel.
It's the most Disney thing you could be.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like
falling in love.
Romance. Yeah, falling in love type thing. That's like what all like the little kids love, or the little girls love about it.
No prince.
I mean, there was the king guy who was like, also, thing about that, everyone kept talking about how handsome he was, and they didn't make him handsome.
The king?
Yeah.
I mean, he's just kind of regular.
Yeah, well, like, he was silver hair, like really green eyes, and kind of like weird looking. Like he was fine, like, but like everyone, like all the women were like swooning over him.
But he's like, he's just like a regular dude.
Yeah, but like they've made handsome guys. They've made like Flynn Rider. They've made like Gaston.
Gaston's pretty handsome.
Yeah, they could make
the Beast. I mean,
anyway, yeah. And the whole ending thing where it was like, whatever. They just sung a song and he was done. Whatever, it sucked. F. Moving on.
What's this next one? I don't think I watched this one.
Leave the World Behind. It's a little like post-apocalyptic type thing.
Uh-huh.
I guess I'd start with a terrible product placement.
Oh, okay. It was in this one.
A little side thing.
Okay.
So like they're going on vacation. They get like this Airbnb type place.
Yep.
Out by the beach.
Yep.
And they drive into town.
Mm-hmm.
And as they're driving back, it's just a shot of them, and they're just driving, and they're just like, oh, look, a Starbucks. And he's like, ooh. And they turn in, and they cut to a shot of the counter at home, and they just place the Starbucks cup on the table right there with the logo.
Bruh.
And then it continues with the scene. It's like, I was like, yo, that's crazy.
That's wild. How much did Starbucks pay for that?
That's like the worst one I've seen.
That's pretty egregious.
But yeah, it was like a thing where they're like, they go to this house, but then the owners of the house show up, and they're like, it's like, stuff happened, we want to stay here the night, which was kind of like suspicious.
Okay.
Oh, because there was a blackout downtown. And then there was like a blackout where they were, and like a bunch of stuff started happening that made them think like there's some sort of like apocalypse, there's something going wrong.
Yeah.
But there's like full media blackout, everything, so they don't know what's going on.
Ah, that's kind of creepy.
Yeah.
Was it good though?
It was pretty good throughout, but then it didn't have a resolution. Like they didn't like explain anything.
Oh, so you don't know why the apocalypse happened?
Well, they kind of do, but it was kind of a cop-out. It was like, because the owner of the house who showed up, Mahershala Ali, he was like a stock, he like bought stocks for like other people type thing.
Oh, he was a broker. Stockbroker.
Yeah, but like the reason he showed up as the house is like, he heard about the blackout, and like one of the people he worked for kind of gave him a warning, and like sounded like he was a rich guy who like knew something. So he was like suspicious. And then like at the end he was like, I know this other guy who was like, who talked, I didn't make the connection till now, but he was talking about this like government thing, which was like how to take down a nation, which was like do media blackout, like spread deceit about other people and like kind of make them fight among themselves, which they like almost did. But it was just like kind of, oh, I heard this from this one guy to kind of explain what's happening.
My buddy told me.
But there were other elements that were good. I don't know how to feel, because like I don't like the way it ended, but like the rest was good.
Yeah, but the ending like ties it together.
Yeah. Maybe I'll throw it and see. Whatever.
All right.
Not think
enough.
too much about it.
Yeah.
It was good though. It was an entertaining watch.
Mm-hmm.
It had some good elements, but yeah.
Still got 3 movies. You got to blitz through
I
these.
have to do all these. Deep Sea, Chinese animation movie.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting animation.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of had like, there's a certain word for it, but it's like particle pixel type. Like
CG animated?
Yeah, so it's like
Okay.
like generated like flowing like water type stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, it was very like beautiful animation.
Mm-hmm.
The story was kind of like pretty good throughout, but I thought the ending was like incredible. It was like very emotional. Kind of tied everything together.
Got it.
Yeah, and it was like emotional. It was like, but it didn't like bum me out leaving, even though it was like emotional, but like had an upswing.
Yeah.
Kind
It's
of
like emotional in a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like happy tears.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, like no, it was a sad event.
Got it.
But like one of the characters had a good upswing.
Okay.
I honestly might put an A.
Okay. Alrighty.
It for the ending was just like, oh, it hit.
Nice.
Real nice.
That's good. Eileen.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was like, it felt solid all the way through, and then it goes to a certain place that you don't exactly see. Like, you know, it's sort of building towards something, and when that something comes, it's just like, oh dang.
Got it.
It was really solid. I don't really have too many gripes about it, honestly.
One of those ones
It's
where
like
almost everything's good.
Yeah, it's like a solid A.
Okay.
A really strong A. It was
Okay. Cool.
It was pretty short too. It was just like nice, good watch.
Okay. May, December?
Yeah, it was one that was like interesting all the way through, but then it got to the end, and I was like, oh, what was the point of that? And I had to like look it up, and I was like, oh, I kind of see what there's. I guess because I was like expecting a resolution to the actual story, but it was more like a satire type thing on, which I get, because it was like she was shadowing this woman. So like this woman is married to this guy that like they were on like all the tabloids when they were younger, because she like had a kid with him when she was 35 and he was 13.
That's not okay.
No, but they're like married now.
Hey,
Yeah.
that's gross.
So they're making a movie about it, and Natalie Portman's gonna play her.
Oh.
So she's like shadowing her.
Huh.
But like you don't get like a resolution to like what the characters or all that is. But but what I read, which kind of makes sense, is kind of satire and like the actor like trying to get too into the role, and like just shadowing her was kind of pointless. It didn't really add anything to her like acting experience.
Got it.
And you don't really learn like who she is as a person, if she's a bad person or good or whatever.
Yeah. Where's it go?
I might throw it in C also. I mean, it was probably better than that. It just wasn't my type of movie.
The run of the mill.
Like I think it's probably like a B movie, but it's just it's not my thing.
Got it.
Yeah, so that's one. I put in C, but like I totally would get if people put it higher.
Yeah. Boy and the Heron.
Ooh.
This one was really good. And it's also so cool to see 2D animation too. Like you don't see that very often anymore. And so like seeing 2D animation, like a new 2D animated movie, like in the theaters is such a wonderful experience. And the one criticism I would have for this is just it's very surrealist, you know, and the concepts are a little bit more like you got to do a lot of thinking, which isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's one like where I left the theater, I'm like, wait, what was it about? Like, what did this mean? What did that mean? Type of thing. It wasn't like more self-contained like the other Miyazaki movies, I feel like. Yeah. They're kind of cut and dry. But I mean, this one was really good though. I enjoyed it a whole lot. I think A at least, right? Yeah. I put an A. It feels like one that like I need to rewatch to like fully appreciate or understand like type of thing. The beginning when it was like trying to get to his mom with like the rippling fire and all that. It was just the beginning of the film and I was just like blown away already. I was like,
oh yeah,
this is crazy.
They really saved the best sequence first. Really hit. No, not as in like they start you
like,
off with a gorgeous sequence. Is what I want to say.
Like came out swinging.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
All right, next one. Poor Things.
Poor Things. Yeah, weird.
Yeah, it seems like a weird
movie. I love like weird original movies, and this was very like well done, like the sets and like what he was trying to do. But like overall, it was kind of like about her journey and like all that, and I didn't feel like it really worked because she ended up being with that guy in the beginning. Well, like she was first with the guy, and then she was like left to like kind of find her way type of thing.
Yeah.
The kind of end thing was like very independent. Even though they ended up in a relationship together, it should be like a relationship is like you make each other better type thing.
Yeah.
But it was more like, you know, I've figured out who I am and you need to accept me as who I am type of thing. There was also a storyline that was kind of felt tacked on where like, because she died and like was reanimated.
Yeah.
And like the person she was married to when she died came back at the wedding and like disputed it. And then they had a little side sequence where she dealt with him and they had a little conflict. But yeah, I know a lot of people liked it, but honestly, I'd put it in like C. It had a lot of good qualities. Like the acting was great. It had a ton of sex scenes.
Yeah, that's right. That was kind of the overwhelming thing I heard about it. My girlfriend watched it with her friend, and they were both like, wow, that was a lot of sex. I can see the point in it, you know? Like, it's kind of showing, because that's like a part of humanity, and she's just learning humanity all over again.
I mean, honestly, that doesn't really affect my rating at all. It was just kind of uncomfortable to watch.
Yeah, I get it.
But yeah.
I also have the next two. Origin technically came out last year, or came out in 2023, but I watched it in 2024. This one was really interesting. It was like adapted from a book. Like, it wasn't the book translated into movie. It was like about the writer and how she like got the idea for the book and started writing it. Yeah, it just like the ideas that were discussed in it were really interesting too. It was like, because it's dealing with the idea more of like caste versus race. You know, she's trying to come up with this because it was kind of instigated with the from the Trayvon Martin case, you know, and so like she's a former writer. She wrote one book that did well, but then she didn't really write anything else because life got in the way and she didn't want to like, you know, do those things at the same time. She wanted to focus on her family and all that. But then when certain family things happen, she ends up delving into like writing because it's kind of an escape from what the horrible things that she's experienced. You know, it was really interesting. She like connects all these different ideas from like the Nazis and how they treated the Jews in the Holocaust, and then the Dalits, the Indian people I forget what the untouchables of India, I think called Dalits or something like that. I apologize if I'm butchering it. I just don't remember. And it was just really interesting how like it was less about race and more about like caste and like oppression based on power, and just like the people in power changing the narrative about the oppressed people just to like put them and make them oppressed. And it was really interesting, and I liked it, and it was very emotional. Like, it was an interesting way to adapt a book into a movie. I know some people had criticisms about it, feeling it was too preachy or whatever, but I thought it was fine. Like, I thought it was I'd give it like I don't know if it was an A necessarily, but like I'd give it a B. Like, it was a solid movie. It honestly, no, you know what? I'm gonna pop it up to A because it's definitely not in the same realm as Mario. I saw that, I was like, nah, because that movie like almost made me cry like multiple times. It was very emotional, and it was just it really hit hard, and it had a lot of interesting ideas to talk about and like bring up, and I don't know, I thought it was really good. Yeah, so I would give it an A. Next up is Wonka. So this is like a prequel to Willy Wonka's life. So it's like when he gets started making candies. It looked terrible. Trailers looked like garbage. It was much, much better than the trailers were. It was very heartwarming and sweet, and all the pieces from the trailer were just kind of taken out of context. Like, his character is very weird and goofy, and like it works in the, hour and a half, 2 hours, however long the movie is, but in the trailer it just seemed weird. But yeah, it was fun. I had a lot of fun with it. It took a lot of inspiration from like the Gene Wilder Willy Wonka more than the Johnny. I don't think it even mentioned Johnny Depp. Like, I don't even have had any like.
It didn't mention Johnny Depp.
No, well, it didn't have any like references to that version of the character.
Okay.
Is what I meant to, like, what I mean by that. Yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed it. It was much more interesting and sweet. Haha, sweet. Get it? Because they got candy. Anyways, that was fun. I'd give it a B. Zone of Interest. We both watched that, yeah? Yeah, that was a good one.
That was really good.
Yeah. I mean, A or S?
Yeah. I think it was S. It was just
okay.
It was so well done.
Mm-hmm.
It was such a good way, like, interesting way to portray it.
Yeah, oh yeah. 100%.
Because it just, like, showed, like, Auschwitz from, like, the Nazis' perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not from the Nazis' perspective, but, like, the family who lived next door.
Yep.
And, like, how normal they thought about it, and how they didn't care. It was just, like, work.
Well, I don't know if they didn't care, because, like, I mean, yes, it was work to them and to the man, but, like, to the wife, like, there was definitely, when her mom, like, when she had her mom over and her mom just, like, bounced, like, and her mom kept trying to bring it up to her, and she was just, like, kept dismissing it, she was like, no. She kept trying to direct the conversation away from what was happening next door, she was like, oh, so the mom was like, oh, so, that's the camp on the other side. She's like, yeah, we put vines on the wall. We think they're going to look really nice. Like, she kept trying to, like, you could tell that she knew that bad stuff was happening.
Well, yeah, they knew. But
well, as in, like, you can tell that it affected her, but, like, she was trying to, like, bury it down and not feel it, That's the impression I got.
Not with her.
Yeah. Oh, definitely with her.
No, the wife?
100%.
No.
Yeah.
No, like, she knew, but she, like, when the person who was, like, a local village girl, like, brought 2 plates even though the mom wasn't there, and she was like, you did this just to mock me?
Mm-hmm.
My husband could spread your ashes across the field if I wanted to.
Well, yeah.
It's like she knew what was happening, but she, like, didn't really, like, care in that aspect.
I guess so. Well, I mean,
it was more like living next to something unpleasant rather than, like, people's lives.
Yeah, that could be it. Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think about that.
Because the point was kind of like how normalized it became to them, and how they just, like, it was just part of the background.
Yep.
And, like, part of the normal day-to-day.
Yeah, and that's why, like, it was normal to them, but then when the mom came, she couldn't deal with it. Yeah. And she even must have written her daughter something mean or something, like, scathing, because the wife threw it in the incinerator. But yeah, I mean, it was a very, very unique way of going about that. And, like, I appreciated the end sequence that had, like, kind of showed shots of people cleaning up the different displays at the Auschwitz camp. Like,
yeah, because they only showed, that was the only time they showed the inside. They never showed it, like, during.
No, yeah, nope. Yeah, really heavy movie, but I think it was really well done.
Yeah, but anyway, Chicken Run.
Sorry for the whiplash there, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, Chicken Run Dawn of the Nugget. That one was fun-ish. Like, it was mediocre. I feel like it was kind of run-of-the-mill. I'd give it like a C.
Fair enough.
It was like a heist movie. It was kind of fun. It was just, I don't know, it was just kind of whatever. I feel like if Chicken Run were a more popular franchise, I might have would liked it better, you know. But I watched it one time when I was a kid, maybe, and they did a little recap at the beginning. I'm like, that's what happened in Chicken Run. I don't remember that at all. And it was neat. I mean, I think the animation is probably the most impressive part, but it was very run-of-the-mill, just kind of average. So, nothing too impressive. Don't have much to say about it.
Fair enough. So the next one is Endless Journey, another foreign film.
What country is this one from?
It's China. It was of like this, this police crew who like beat up one of the brothers of someone who raped this kid. And like they beat him up and the guy ends up dying, so they get sentenced to prison. And once they get out years later, their families is kind of falling apart and all that.
Yeah.
So they decide to make their mission, or like the main guy decides to make their mission to find the other brother, bring him to justice. And the other people go with him, but as realistic as they were like really inspired and they were like trying to find them, but it takes a really long time, endless journey. And they slowly kind of drop off one by one.
Yeah.
But it was, it's interesting, pretty good. I'd probably put in like C.
C? Okay. Same as Chicken Run, eh?
Yeah, it was the same as like May, December, and Worldbind. It was good, but it was kind of forgettable, I guess.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, it had a nice ending. Yeah.
All right. American Fiction, up next. This one I really enjoyed this. This one was really fun. It was funny, which a lot of like the better movies this year were a little heavy.
Yeah. And
this one was like, it had humor, but it also had like good things to say and like an actual like strong message. I think like A would be an appropriate place to put it. I don't know. Like I could be convinced to put it in S.
I don't think it was S.
No?
No.
Okay.
I'd put it in A.
Okay, cool. A for American Fiction.
A for American Fiction.
He was a really funny character, and like even though he was definitely flawed.
Very well, yeah.
Yeah, he was very much like set in his ways, and he didn't want to change, because he thought everyone else was wrong and he was the one right. Part of the point that it was making about media was that like some media is meant for different people, That was just part of the whole message of the movie, but like just because certain types of media are enjoyed by certain types of people doesn't mean it's worse, and like media portraying people in a certain way, like because in this case it was portraying black people in this one particular way, doesn't mean that all black people are like that. And so that's what he was really upset about, and he was like, this shouldn't be a thing, like it's ridiculous. But it's like most people are smart enough to be able to pull that out and realize that it's not the case. But I mean, it also had an interesting kind of concept about like, how white people and just like people who aren't part of that racial group experience media of the other people. They expect there's different expectations for it to be a certain way. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed it a whole lot. I thought one of my favorite parts was the relationship between the lady who helped the mom and and Maynard, the security guard. That was really sweet.
That was pretty cool.
That was fun. But yeah.
Yeah, I pretty much agree. It's pretty good.
Okay. Cool.
Yep.
Alrighty, Maestro is up next.
Maestro. This is an interesting one.
Yeah.
It felt like every single aspect was like absolutely perfect. The story, not the story. The makeup, the production, the shots, the acting.
Oh yeah.
Everything was perfect except the story.
Yep.
Outside it was kind of weak. It's almost a collection of moments.
Yeah. Kind of like
it was also like
snapshots of his life.
Yeah, and it was also entirely about his relationship with his wife, which is kind of an odd choice. Yeah,
because about a prolific American composer, you'd think that it would be about his music, but no, not really.
Yeah, it was like each individual scene was like really like enjoyable to watch.
Oh yeah.
Like the one scene where he like did it, where he composed and just kind of showed the ending like finale part, and he was like super into it.
Oh yeah, he was really going crazy.
Yeah. I'd put it in B.
Yeah, I agree.
How you're feeling, but
no, yeah, I would agree. I'd put it in B too.
Yeah.
I also like that. I think almost exclusively the soundtrack was his orchestration.
Makes sense.
I don't think they even had a composer. Alrighty, you got to take the next two. You can do it.
Nor Yang, Deadly Sea. A great war movie that's not about World War II.
Hell yeah.
It's fun about the Imjin War, I think it's called.
Okay.
Which is like basically Japan invaded Korea and like parts of China.
Okay.
And basically the war was basically over, so they were leaving, but there were a few points where they were like, they held like fortresses. And they were surrounded by, so like China and Korea had a joint like collaboration army to kick out Japan.
Okay, interesting.
And like one of the general of like the Korean one was like he was very set on like destroying the enemy. You know,
Nice.
They killed his brother type thing.
Got it. You got vendetta.
Yeah. And the leader of the Chinese part, which is the Ming, and the Korean is the Joseon.
Okay.
But the leader of the Ming was just like, I just want to protect my men. I don't want to.
Noble cause.
I just wanted them to let them leave.
Yeah.
So he kind of makes a deal with them, and there's kind of this whole thing, but it basically leads to this giant naval warfare scene.
Hell yeah.
Which is really sick. It was just like,
That's good.
there's so many parts where I was just like, this is so sick.
That sounds cool.
So much of the naval warfare was like just crazy.
Like cannons
like,
and stuff.
Battering rams, and like they like threw like pots of like this tar on the ship and then retreated and fired flaming bows at them.
Ooh.
They had like this big like box full of like arrows that had somehow gunpowder attached to them, and they lit the whole thing. It just like fired a ton of like a whole dozens of arrows at once. It was like,
That's crazy.
they had some crazy like gunpowder type technology, which is like, oh, this is sick. So yeah, that was a strong A.
Nice.
It was so sick.
That's cool. Next up is another one that I didn't watch.
Donkey.
Take it away.
Another Indian movie. It was marketed as a comedy, but it really wasn't.
Oh no.
It was for like the first maybe 30 minutes, or then it like kind of sharply took a left turn. And ended up being about like about immigration, like how the introduction of the visa only affected poor people, and now they have to like illegally cross in like shipping containers and stuff, and it's really dangerous. And then when they get there, it's still like they have to avoid police, and like they're never truly at home type thing.
Yeah.
And it's just like a sucky process. And it was like kind of like a downer.
Yeah, that kind of takes you out of it.
It was like, I thought it was a comedy type thing. But yeah, I'd give it like a B. It was probably similar to Leo.
Okay.
It was really good, but it was just like, maybe not. What happened to the comedy part, guys?
Was there a song and dance number? That's a real question.
Oh yeah,
Okay, good.
sure did.
That's good.
Yeah.
Very good.
I was like considering watching the movie, and I decided to skip through the trailer and saw that there was a song and dance number. I was like, all right, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Anyways, next up is Iron Claw.
Oh,
What a banger.
emotional.
Like, you can kind of tell what kind of movie it was. Like, I feel like the trailer did a really accurate job of portraying what kind of movie it was, you know? Like, you could tell that there was going to be, like, some big conflict with the dad. And, like, it was exactly what I thought it was going to be, which is great. Cause
It wasn't at all for me.
Oh, really?
It was like much more emotional.
Oh, I could tell. I felt. I mean,
it seemed like a brother was gonna die. Like they made that clear from the
that's
trailer.
a good point.
But then like a lot more than that. It was like way more.
That's
it was
true.
like that was kind of unexpected.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that.
But you know the rest of it, yeah.
Yeah, it was just like what really hit hard for me was that the dad just didn't care about his kids. All he cared about was that stupid title.
Yeah.
It was
living
the belt.
vicariously through his kids.
Yeah, and he was just like he was forcing them to basically just do these matches to win the belt and then bring it into the house, and it took a mental toll on all of them, and it was bad. And man, that scene where he, I mean, this is a bit spoiler territory, but like that scene where he like chokes out his dad, like I was rooting for him. I was like, man, kill your dad, bro. And I know that's bad, but like it just you felt like his anger and pain like in that scene, and it was just that was an excellent film.
Yeah.
I'm a put in S if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Up there.
I had to watch Rebel Moon and I didn't finish it. It's the only one on this list that I didn't finish, and I feel like I watched enough of it to know that it is an F tier movie. It's so bad. Like it's not even like worth it to watch it. Like the VFX aren't even like impressive or anything. It's just a bad movie. And okay, there's two lines that I just want to read out to you. I read them to Marcel the other day just because I couldn't wait until we recorded, but I just want to read them because they are some of the stupidest lines I've ever heard in a movie in a long time. The first one occurs after the main character tells her whole backstory to this guy, like after they kind of begin the adventure. And she tells her whole backstory, which is actually really interesting. And I'm like, wow, this would have made for a way better movie. And she says, after she tells him the backstory, she says, I'm only telling you this so you know who I am.
Yep.
It's like, go figure. Why else would you say that? And then the next line also came from her, which I feel bad nitpicking on her lines, but she's the main character, so she obviously has the most lines. And the movie's just written terribly. But she's talking about how, another backstory bit, she's talking about how she was like sent to protect this princess, and she was like, her name was Princess Issa. The princess was named after an ancient Queen Issa, the life giver. In the old stories of the queen, it was said that she had the power to give life. Obviously.
Bars.
Like, it's just like it's such a poorly written film. And it's just like a straight copy of Star Wars. Like, it's just, there's a lady with lightsabers, pretty much. And it's just like, bro, this is just straight up Star Wars. Like, they have the rebel group, and then the freaking Empire, which I don't even know what they call it, but it's just the Empire. It's bad. I tried to watch more of it, actually. Like, I stopped it, and then I tried to watch more, and I didn't finish it. That was a big old stinker right there. All right, you take this one away.
Ooh, Solar. Part 1 ceasefire.
Another part 1.
Yeah. I mean, this was another one where it's just like, this movie is so sick. It just, another, Indian juggernaut who's like, rejoins the fray. It follows his soul story where it's like, he's not allowed by his mother to like join the battle because he's like, you could tell something happened. And then he does, and it's awesome, of course.
Right.
And then it kind of reaches like this kind of cliffhanger type thing at like the halfway point. Then the rest of the movie is just backstory.
Oh.
And then you learn the other stuff that happened, which is more crazy stuff.
Nice.
And then you're fully caught up and ready for the second part.
It just ends right there.
But like, yeah, the whole like, at one point it just becomes like a zombie movie, which is weird. But
what the heck?
Because this one guy is like, keeps people like really like hungry and like trains them to like basically be zombies, but they're
like
kinda,
eat
like,
other
crazy
people?
Yeah, or like attack them, but they're like behave like zombies basically because they're chasing them. And it's like, okay, sure.
Interesting.
But it's just sick action stuff.
Yeah.
And I'd probably put it in A.
All right.
It's similar to Noyang, where it was just like, this is just sick.
Yeah.
Action fighting.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is so cool.
Yeah. Anyways, Society of the Snow.
Oh.
What a good movie.
Yeah.
Like, another one where, like, this one, there's almost nothing wrong with it. Like, I think this one's the highest for me, Like, this one was just excellent the whole way through.
Yep.
And it's the crazier thing is that it's a true story.
Yeah. It's
which is
true.
even wilder. So, like,
yeah.
S tier, easy.
Yes. It's one of those movies where it's like, I watch so many movies and I really like a lot of them, don't like some of them, whatever. But then a movie like this comes along and I watch it and I'm just like, oh, that was on a different level.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah.
It's one of those where you're like reminded like, oh, there's a difference between good and great films. This is like a great. It's just so well made, so good.
Yeah. Dude, it was so good.
It was incredible, yeah.
And the fact that it's so real too, it's a true story. Like, I know Iron Claw and Killers of the Flower Moon are based off of true stories too, but like,
I mean, it's a crazy story.
I mean, just the fact that they were able to survive, and just like the whole dealing with the moral issue that comes with eating people, it like takes a toll on you, but like they have to survive. And man, they capture it so well, that like division, and wow, it was just insane. What a great movie. Boys in the Boat is next. The Boys in the Boat, I'm sorry.
The Boys.
The Boys in the Boat. This one was a nice feel-good, American pride, like, we did it type movie.
Classic little sports.
Yeah. Yeah, this one was fun.
Yeah, pretty straight down the line, but it was good.
Yeah, I feel like B for
Nice
Boys in the
little
Boat.
B.
Yeah.
B's for boat. B is for boys.
B's for the boys.
Yep.
Yeah, man. This one was fun. I don't know how much of it was like factually accurate to what happened in real life.
I think it was, well, at least like the sporting stuff that happened was spot on.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know about the details, but yeah.
Yeah, this one, it was a fun watch,
Yeah.
Like, it was just enjoyable, man. It makes you feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, last one.
Last one.
Last one.
The Goldfinger.
Take it away.
Yeah, it's a Hong Kong
Okay.
movie. It's basically like The Wolf of Wall Street, like that guy.
Okay.
Except it's a true story actually. I didn't
Really?
realize it going in.
All right.
So it's like someone who's like Jordan Belfort type of thing, but on like a way bigger scale.
Interesting. Okay.
So like he has people who like inflates the stock of his company and then like gets giant loans from banks and like sells things that, he's like we're talking like billion type stuff.
Jeez.
Like he gets huge, but like the editing was terrible.
Oh no.
It was a movie where I'm like, this is such an interesting story. If this was in the hands of like a really good director, this could have been like a masterpiece. But like just the way they like organized stuff was like weird. The sound was like absolutely terrible.
Oh no.
I don't know if that was just like somehow there's lost in translation importing the movie type thing, but like it would just be like two characters are talking to each other, so like if we're talking to each other, I'm talking, the camera's on me, the audio is fine, but then it cuts to you and I'm still talking and it sounds like it's going through a radio.
What the hell?
Yeah, it was like actively bad.
Oh
and
no.
I don't know why that is, but yeah, I'm not holding that against it, but the editing wasn't good. Like the way they structured the story, it like showed a bit from the beginning and then it kind of like jumped to him already kind of being big and like kind of jumped around a bit and was just like, I mean, the actual story itself saved it big time. So that was probably like a C. But yeah,
Yikes.
an incredible amount of potential with that one.
Huh.
It definitely pulled together in the end. It became more clear towards the end, but still, it's like big missed potential there.
Well, that's it. We got it. Anything you'd want to change? Anything you'd want to move around? Anything you didn't feel like good about where you put it? Yeah, D's, F's. Yep.
Yeah, I think we kind of killed it, not gonna lie.
Yeah, man. That was like, what, 75 movies?
Yeah, pretty much.
75 movies.
Around there.
A lot of movies. It's fun to kind of reminisce and talk about all the movies that we watched. Well, we did it.
Good.
We did it last year. We did it again this year.
I like good movies.
We'll do it again next year.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Unless I get hit by a bus next week.
No. Why would you say that? That's terrible.
What do you mean?
Don't get hit by a bus. Try not to get hit by a bus, and then I think.
Well, you never
fine.
try to get hit by a bus.
Well, unless you want like something paid for. But yeah, man, this was fun. I like doing this. I like doing this with you. Honestly, like this was a good year for like foreign films. I feel like American films were pretty good, but foreign films really slapped this year.
Okay, so it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 foreign films in S.
Yeah, and 1, 2, 3
out of 13. It's almost half right there.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in A.
Yeah.
Yeah, foreign films really carried. B has the most American films. Well, I mean, of the higher ones, B has the most American films. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Farewell and salutations.